Gee, that feels good. It's nice and smooth. I love 400, man. My favorite grit is 400. I don't know about you, Mark and Rage, but I really appreciate 400. It just makes things feel good. 600's even good, but 400's enough. 320's probably enough, but I love 400, dude. It really, really does make this feel wonderful. Okay, let's oil that up. I'm going to change the camera angle now and have a bit of a break. Let's carry on to the main scene. There we are. How you all doing? Good to see you. I'm going to move this camera that I ad-libbed and whacked on this little light stand. Let's move that light stand out of the way. Put this guy back up here. And let's keep carrying on with our oils. Oils ain't oils, Sol. Castrol GTX. That's what Leslie said it was. 320 to 400. Yeah, it's a good grit range, isn't it? It does the job. Okay, there we have it. Let's bring that down here. We're going to oil this little guy here. I'm going to grab the oil, just give that a nice coat. I'm just going to give that a wipe down first, obviously. Let me grab a cloth. Got some clean t-shirt material. I'm going to need it for wiping and for applying finish. Okay. There's my new rag. Just going to cut a little slot out of here before I foul that up. Okay, there's my clean piece. Right. Okay. Let's grab our oil. That neck's going to pop. Oh yeah, she's going to pop. It's going to look lovely. That rosewood's going to look nice too, I think. Just on the end there. Where is it? There it is. Let's pop our little can. Give it a swizzle. Leslie's favourite thing to do. Mix drinks. Grab our little cloth, get a glove on. All right. Isn't that right, Leslie? Yep, 600 up is polishing time, that's right. And by that, the Bumstead probably says get to 2400 or 3000 and then get out the cutting compound and the buffer wheel. But we go to 12K because we are psychos. Huh. Hey, Angel Baby, what's going on? Angel Baby, haven't seen you for a while. Are you well? Happy New Year, by the way, and Merry Christmas and all that stuff. How you doing? All right, let's have a little look, see what this thing can do. Start at this end, just give that an make a nice little dress. Just a nice thin coat. You can see that's popping nicely. That neck's looking really good. If I can just get that up. Let's get this heel done here. See what that color looks like. Ooh, it's nice. You can see the layers, the stacked heel there. It's pretty good. That's not too bad. Let's get that guy on there like that. It's drinking that up a little bit because it is a little bit rough. You can see that finish there. See, look at that layer. It's really cool because it's a lot lighter and it gives it that like 2-layered effect. So you got one dark, really light. And of course that blends in nicely with the rosewood at the bottom there. How's that? Rage, are you happy with that? That looks all right. Buffing compound, swirl remover, then the high polish. B. Bumstead is king of the gloss. Okay, I'm going to let that drink it up because that needs obviously another coat down here, but we're getting there. So that looks pretty good. I like that. That looks awesome. I'll just flick that over. I'll leave the glove. I'll take the glove off because I don't want to drip anywhere on that, the rest of that finish. Now there's a dry spot right here that I saw which I don't like. I'm going to hit that dry spot just there. There we go. So along that side too. Probably because I was putting tape and scuffing that area a little bit, so we'll give that a little touch up like so. And you can see that's looking pretty good. Let me flick the camera over. Okay, let's get this guy up. Okay, so there we have that neck. Okay, we've got that heel there. Okay, that rosewood's going to really work well when we get that guy done. There's the other side there. Fits in nicely, blends in. That neck's looking pretty good. I do like that color. It's stunning. I love blackwood. Look at that. Now you can see the neck really blending in with the body on the back. I mean, that's something else, right? Right there. That's pretty cool. The front's looking all right too, just quietly. That's got a nice sheen on it as well. So we're getting there. Okay, I'm going to hang this guy up. Hang him high. Like so. And we should be able to let that dry, get the tuners on there, get the bridge on there. We're only 2 steps away from probably, hey Krillin, what's going on? Yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's getting there, man. We're just 2 steps away. I think we just got the tuners to go, the nut, which I've already cut. The nut, and of course the bridge. The bridge is probably going to be the next step, so that if there's any cleanup to do, we clean that up, while we're working on that. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is grab this guy here. We sanded off this guy here. Now I've removed all the bindings off this guy once more, second time, and I've deepened the binding channel. When I say deepen, I've made it thicker around there. I removed all the bindings. The reason I've done that is because I've come up with a good idea. I'm going to place the maple bindings along the top here, meeting the top of that, but I'm going to I'm going to leave a 2mm bead at the bottom where the body meets, and I'm going to add a little bit of color to match the purple heart. I've got this stuff. Acrylic that's colored, a swirly, pearly purple heart color. It does darken. It's called Phoenix Flame. It's a little bit on the bright side, but what that's going to do is that's going to give me a little highlight that's about a 1/16 of an inch right down where it meets the body, and then the binding is going to sit on top of that. So I'm going to lay the binding down first, leave a gap through there, and the gap is going to be determined by wire, brass wire. So I'm going to wire this now to provide a formwork for a gap that's about a 1/16. Then I can continue to lay the maple flush, and then I can backfill that with color. Leslie, I wanted to make it more complicated because I knew you would like it and appreciate it. No, we're going to do something like that. So I've got some wire here and I want to test it out and see how good I can get this soft brass wire. In actual fact, if you leave this in there with the same colored pickups and with the colored pickups and the gold hardware, it wouldn't look bad to have a really flashy boundary just in here. Let me show you by changing cameras. In there. If I could get this extruded, it's soft, so I can tap and build that. But imagine a layer or 2 layers in there, and then maple above that. It sounds interesting, doesn't it? What I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to fix this in to give me the border that I need. I'm also going to test the thickness of this guy, because this is a little bit wider than the stuff that I've got. So let me just pop this in here for now, tape that down and do a size check. And I will be using this guy to potentially for an inlay on a neck, on a fretboard, and of course, you know, inlaid and then sanded flat, of course, radiused, and just to pop that like a brass inlay where it's appropriate, of course. Now what I need to do is just get this guy in here and check some thicknesses before I do anything for this binding. Then we have to bend the binding. So I'm just going to lay that down. It's so easily bent into shape. It's really, really easily bent into shape. So that gives me a nice little bit of form work to test things with. Now, this may not be thick enough, so I have to really look at that. And if it isn't thick enough, then I will grab a straight piece that's 2 millimeters thick, another 1/2 mil. This is 1.5, and that will give me what I need. Because what I have to do is fit the maple, and I'll grab a little sample piece and show you what I mean by that. So that's going to fit in there. Let me grab the sample piece. Where is that maple? Here it is. I'll grab a smaller piece. And I'm just going to check and see what that looks like. So if I lay that down in there like so, and I add that on top, you can see what it does is it stops, firstly, this guy from overshooting, and that makes it just over the top. Just over the top. You can see there's a gap there with the wire. So when I lay this down and glue it down, when we come back, we remove the wire, we're going to have a channel where we're going to brush in a very, very thin pinstripe of that colored epoxy resin to give that a little red bead around there, or a little purple heart bead around there. Just something a little bit different. I wanted to accent it a little bit. Let me just tap this guy in because it's giving me the irrits. Okay, that dye is taken care of. That oil, I should say. We need to clean these out as well. Obviously, this body needs a little bit more work. I've sanded it flat, pretty flat. A couple little high spots, low spots that I'll address later on, but I just wanted to work on this so we can do the final coatings once the binding is on. So I'm going to start firstly by pinning this down. Pin it down, they said. You'll never know, they said. So I'm going to tape one end down here, and then I can pull